Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Chaos Culture Radio. You know what I mean? This your boy Prince Hakeem.
This is your man Ronnie Ron in the house, in the building.
And you know,
hey, Prince Hakeem, how's it going, baby?
Hey, boy, it's God is good.
Like he is, surely is. All the time, baby.
We got a special guest with us today. You know what I mean? I can't even believe it. I thought this dude was lying when he said this, but it is like I guess he done checked me today. We have the lovely Miss D.woods from Danity Kane.
Really?
Hey.
You didn't tell me. You didn't call me like, hey, we have Miss Woods. You know, that's my hello. I'm one of the biggest fans.
I'm a fan too. You're a big fan of her too. And I'm like, oh nah, I can't believe he got her. I say, man, this girl gonna be too busy to talk to some dudes like us. You feel what I'm saying? You know, she don't know us from a can of paint. We might be on that rah-rah or something like that, but I appreciate it so much.
Yes.
Well, thank you for having me, fellas.
I appreciate that, Miss Wood. So
yeah. Go ahead.
Ronnie, I'm gonna let you go first. I'm gonna let you talk to her.
Okay, D.woods. So D.woods, tell us about yourself. How do you come up with your name, D.woods? Where you're from? What you're doing? Like, come on, let's build with you. Tell me about you.
Well, which question you want me to start with? Because those three questions could go into a whole tangent, different directions.
I don't want a different direction. We'll stay on the main focus. What made you become D.woods?
Oh, okay. That's a kind of a wide question too. Well, I started performing as a young child at the age of 3 years old. And I guess, you know, some people are just born to do this, and sometimes the craft chooses you. So like I can't even tell you what the initial thing that inspired me to just do it. I just know I've been doing it, and from the first time I stepped on stage, my first dance recital, my mother saw in me that I was like very determined, and was just like, because she thought that the hours were going to be too much, you know, like a little kid getting irritable or whatever, and she was like gonna pull me out of the dance recital. And then I was like, no, you know. It's like you find your first time, you start saying no when you're a baby, you just want to say no to everything. I was like, no. So I was, been on stage ever since then, in dance training in different ways as a dancer, ballet, tap, modern, contemporary, musical theater, jazz, West African, you name it. And I got into theater, I got into acting. My first professional acting gig was in regional theater in Massachusetts. I grew up in Massachusetts, Springfield, Mass. And I was doing theater up there. My first show was August Wilson's Fences, which a lot of people became familiar with when Denzel Washington, Viola Davis did the movie version of it a couple years ago. But August Wilson, if you're in the theater community, you know he's like a prominent name for black theater, black stories. So to be a part of that was like my first introduction in, acting with professional Broadway film and television like actors as like a 5-year-old.
Wow.
And I'm like the daughter, you know what I mean? I just tell you the truth, I didn't really know what the play was about. I just knew my scene, you know what I'm saying? And then like I remember my sister and I, we had to split the role because of, child labor laws. We had to split the hours. So one night she would do it, another night I would do it. So we were like, switching off like that. And we just loved it. We loved everything about just the process of rehearsal, costume fittings, just being on set, waiting in the green room for our part, just like getting into character, just living this like imaginary life, but living it like truthfully. So just one thing led to another. I moved to Atlanta, Georgia in high school, and I went to the performing arts high school, Tri-Cities High School of Visual and Performing Arts. And we have a lot of wonderful. Like our roster is deep, you know what I'm saying? Our alumni roster is deep, y'all. So like we go to these functions, these Grammy Awards, Oscar, Tony Awards, Emmys, all these different television shows or whatever, and you seeing classmates or you seeing, you know, alumni that maybe you didn't go to school with, but you know, they went to the school, and it's just kind of like a family, and everybody's, you know, everybody's doing something either behind the scenes, in front of the camera, on the executive level. And it just feel like a big old class reunion whenever we link up. So that's a dope feeling to have come from that breeding ground. And while in that school, like they didn't treat us like we was in school. They treated us like we was professionals. So there were times when we would be in school, like I don't remember leaving school when the sun was out. You know, I was always
Wow.
leaving
So
school
you
like
been
10, 11 o'clock at night. You know what I'm saying? Like
incredible.
sometimes like I remember we had this the custodian staff, they knew us and they used to have to kick us out the building like, all right, y'all gotta go home now. And we're like, wait, we just need to run it one more time. And like they would kick us out the building. Like it wasn't even like we were being made to do it. Like we were just so hungry for the for everything, you know, and the opportunities that it afforded us, like the ways our instructors and our mentors were just exposing us to stuff. I traveled to South Africa with a outside theater company called the Youth Ensemble of Atlanta, YEA for short, and a lot of the kids at Tri Cities were also a part of this company, but also other kids from other high schools. But we traveled, you know, around the country. We traveled to South Africa. We performed. Um, we was going hard. I mean, it's like, I think of some of like the experience that I got like as a minor, you know, while still in high school. Like it challenges anything that I've done ever since then. Like the process, the amount of discipline, the amount of focus, the amount of like excellence that we was pulling out of each other at 14, 15 years old. You know what I mean? It's like I really, if you can't tell, I really cherish all of those experiences because it really made me who I am and how I conduct myself in the industry now. And even to this day, I before the pandemic, I was doing a off Broadway production of For Colored Girls, which was supposed to transfer to Broadway during this year of 2020. We're gonna cross our fingers, make sure that it still happens in 2021 when the world opens back up fully. But I still was reaching out to my, you know, acting coach from this company. I was like, yo, I need you to look at this monologue. I need you to coach me. We was doing it on Zoom. Like I was like I was like in the dressing room. I was set up my phone and I'd back up. I'm like, all right,
Wow.
I'm about to do it. And then he would tear into me just the same way that he did when we were, you know, when we were kids. And I take his opinion very seriously because like it ain't about no, you know, putting on airs. And they know when you bullshit and they know when you holding back. They know how much further that they can push you, how much further you can go. But he also challenged me too to just be like, you know what you're doing. Why you asking me? Why you second guessing yourself? You know you great. Now go out there and fucking do that shit. Oh, I'm sorry if I'm cussing. Am I supposed
No,
to?
no, no. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Hey,
You
hey,
do this.
baby.
Go ahead.
Hey,
On
baby,
this
get loose.
platform, you
Get
are
loose.
allowed
On
to
this
go ahead.
platform, you have free reign.
Yeah, you have free reign. Go ahead. Be yourself. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and,
Go
and
ahead.
one thing I
Yeah.
want to add to this, you said something that made me even love you even more. I'm from Massachusetts as well. I'm from Boston. So when you said you was from
Oh, really?
Springfield, yeah, you say you was
Okay.
Springfield. Now I'm gonna tell you, Springfield people are raised a little bit different. It's something in the water over there. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, what you trying to say? What you
Oh,
trying
you
to
know,
say about my
hey,
town?
you know what I'm saying, boy. Y'all different kind of breed of people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you don't see how the way she talk. She talk with
Hey,
that fire in her
they got
throat. You
listen.
know, like
They got a no nonsense attitude, and she know what I'm talking
yeah.
about. You know what I'm talking about. Is this not only the Hall of Fame basketball day? It's a no nonsense attitude people there. Trust me on that.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically like we don't know how to be fake. I mean, we have a very low tolerance for fake people.
Oh, Lord Jesus. Yep.
I
Yep.
mean, I still some of my friends. This is funny. This is funny. I went to visit because my whole father's side of the family is there, and a lot of my friends.
Mm-mm.
So I went up there one time just to get away from the city because sometimes New York can be really intense. So
Yes.
this is like a year ago or whatever. So I was like, I'm just gonna go home, just gonna chill, and I just want to pull up on some of my friends. And so my homegirl, she owns like a hair salon, and I knew if I hung out with her at the hair salon, I would see everybody, like, cause people just come through, like the hair salon is like the barbershop, you know what I'm saying? So I'm just chilling with her at the hair salon the whole day, but they didn't know I was in town, and not that they would change anything, just knowing that I was there, but the fact that this one chick did this, it was just so funny to me. So I'm just sitting, I'm just chilling, and homegirl walks in, and then she left real quick. Then another chick that we knew, she came in and she was like, moving real fast, like looking real busy or whatever. And she noticed me. So she was like, "Oh, what's up?" They call me by my first name, Juanita. They're like, "Oh my goodness, it's Nita. She in town. What's up?" Blah, blah, blah. And then we just started having a whole catch up session. And then she left. And then the other chicks in the salon started talking like, "I can't believe she would come up here looking for an old girl. Like, she gonna bring that to my business." And I was like, "Well, what's going on?" She was like, "Oh, you don't know? She came up here looking for her because she heard that other girl was up here. They was about to, start beefing. They was about to start fighting, whatever." And I was like, "That's why she came in like that." It was just like she came up to the shop looking to on site beat her ass. And I was like, if it wasn't for me and distracting her not seeing me for a long time, it would have been a whole nother situation. I was like, y'all still fighting? Y'all still be scrapping in the fucking streets like that? Like, but I was like, I gotta love my friends. I gotta love my city because I know if I ever need them, they be there. They pull up, like, no question. It don't even matter what happened. You just told me I need to be there, and that's what I'm gonna do.
But not only that, but I want to ask you something too, because you're a type of person, especially growing up like that in Boston and traveling around the world from South Africa, which I love to hear from Kemet, our homeland. You get what I'm saying? So, what made
Hmm.
you want to become an entrepreneur? What made you get that fire to become like, you know what? I want to do more things than just acting and music.
Well, that's interesting that you say that because I went to I went to college. I went to New York University, Tisch School of the Arts.
Mm-hmm.
I was an acting major, and but being at a predominantly white institution,
Mm-hmm.
and me being one of the only black talents there, the curriculum wasn't really set up for me. Like, I'm learning the craft of acting, of dance, of voice and music theory and everything, but it was just like, yo, this is not preparing me to be what I think I need, what I'm think I'm being called to be. You know what I mean? I got to be so much more. I'm not just trying to be like a Sambo out here tap dancing and entertaining y'all for the sake of you just laughing and saying, like, "Oh, black people, they just all have rhythm. They just all can sing. They just," you know what I mean? So I was like, "Nah, man," because our traditions and our artistic expression is always linked to something deeper, And so I left the Tisch School of the Arts, which people was looking at me like I was crazy, and I went into another division at NYU called the Gallatin School of Individualized Study. And this is where
Mm-hmm.
you create your own curriculum, you create your own major. So ain't nobody really telling you what you can and cannot study. But
Mm-hmm.
at the end, you have to present your study in your thesis like you're a PhD or master's student, and that
Mm-hmm.
it's pass fail. That's how you graduate. It's just pass fail. So you did everything that you wanted to do, whatever it was, but at the end, you gotta convince them that you deserve a degree for it.
Mm-hmm.
So in that, I was really just I was I was taking music business, arts administration, film and television producing classes. I was interning at Power 105 radio in New York, Clear Channel Radio. I interned with Spike Lee's 40 Acres and a Mule. I was on tour dancing with other major artists and doing music videos and stuff. Like, I was doing the most, you know what I'm saying? Because I was just like soaking in all this information and really just trying to figure out, like, how do I not just how can I own and control, have creative control, have ownership, not end up like some of these entertainers that we hear about who are so impactful but die broke, don't own their masters, don't
Facts.
own their content. You know,
Preach.
everybody else is eating off of them, and
Mm.
but their
Mm.
families
You see
are,
what's going on with Kanye?
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You
So
should actually made
like,
that voice. She made that sound. Serious.
so
Yeah,
all
go
of
ahead.
that, yeah, all of that was just like, you know, it wasn't like, oh, I want to be a CEO. Oh, I want to be a boss. Oh, no. It was just like, I just don't want to be in a position where I, I've done all of this and I don't have nothing to show for it. You know what I mean? So, one thing led to another, and then of course my experience in a major record label and major network television also enlightened me too, because that was like the master's program, that was like my PhD program, because I actually graduated from NYU a year early.
Oh,
um
congratulations.
Wow, congratulations.
Thank
Congratulations, bro.
you.
That's
And but I
impressive.
but I went straight into the high profile, high visibility of being
Hmm.
on Making the Band. So that was an education, um, in and of itself. So I learned more,
Mm-hmm.
my eyes were opened more. And then when that situation was over, it was like, well, I didn't do all this just to sit down and wait for somebody to give me the green light. I'm about to just bet on myself and just keep it moving. Like, I know a lot. If I don't know it, I know somebody who does know it, who I can just, might be 2 or 3 phone calls. So I might have to wait. I might have to be very persistent, to get the answers that I need. But as long as I don't stop, then it's gonna keep going. Like, the only person who can stop this is me. If I
Preach.
stop. Yeah.
Preach, preach, preach. Yes, no, because a lot of times, especially in our community, the black community, they seem to give up when the door's knocked down. They don't want to do it anymore. And the way you
Mhm.
talk with that type of motivation, like you get up and you keep pushing no
It,
matter
it,
what.
most definitely, and this was my next question, especially with the adversities that you went through to see you prevail and start your own company. And that's one of
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to ask you, like, because I know you started your own record company, I think roughly around 2009.
Mhm.
And you
Yep.
know, what I mean,
Mm.
I say, what still gave you the motivation leading from that previous situation you in to may you still continue that and still release albums? Because, I mean, we had listened to your two albums in 2011 and 12, The Gray Area and My Favorite Color, which was phenomenal. You have a lot of
Thank
soul in
you.
you have a lot of soul in your voice. So, and I mean, that's really what I think a lot of people want to hear, like, after going through something like that and you still didn't give up, like, what kept you going and for you to start your own record label?
Well, it was kind of, it was kind of like I wasn't thinking about what had just happened.
Hmm.
I was just thinking about what else I wanted to continue doing. So it was damn near immediately following being fired uh publicly on national television and syndicated internationally around the world on reruns that I just was like, oh, okay, we have an appearance to be at. I gotta call the car. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So just kept it moving, and I didn't really allow myself time to stop and think about what had just happened to me. You know what I mean? I just was like, okay, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. Not to say that I didn't have those times where I was sitting in my room by myself and the phone's not ringing no more, and seems like doors are slamming, it seems like people are blackballing me or whatever, and it was just like, yo, what did I do to deserve this? I didn't do anything to deserve this kind of treatment. So those times were definitely challenging. And, kind of heartbreaking too. But it's just like, okay, well, like I said before, who is this gonna disappoint more if I don't do what I said I wanted to do? It's like, really, at the end of the day, I'm the only one who's going to be upset. Like, people are going to move on. They're going to find something else to listen to. They're going to turn the channel, find a new favorite or whatever. It's like, I'm going to be sitting here with the regret. I'm going to be sitting here with the what ifs and, all that stuff. So it's like, so I have to, all right, I got to pick myself up. I got to dust myself off. I got to wipe my tears and okay, so I can't rely on these people no more. I can't, that this person said no, this person's not answering the phone, there's somebody else, or guess what, let me figure out how to do it myself. Let me just, even if I do it wrong, I'm gonna at least get something out of it. Every failure is a lesson. To maybe it's not a bad idea, it was never a bad idea, you just probably didn't have the know-how to execute it to the best way. So it's like every time you try it again, and then fix what didn't happen right the first time in the next time. So those are all the things that I applied to everything that I did with Wood Grain Entertainment, with the distribution deals that were brokered, that like I just went straight to Sony Music. I went to 30 Tigers. I went to Universal Fontana. I got in a van, me and my dancers and my DJ, and we drove to those shows. We went to the we was really grinding, like in the streets, like doing the promotions ourselves, like with whatever contacts we had. And a lot of times people look at female artists like their headache, their issue. You know what I'm saying? Like if you talk to like a lot of managers or whatever, they gonna like huff and puff, but they'll do all the same work for a male artist. I was like, so what's the difference, But for whatever reason, they just don't think that a female's gonna have it in them to grind it out like that. So I was just like, well, I'm just gonna, not that I'm trying to prove anybody wrong, but it's like, well, that's not me. You know what I mean? Like, I I did this myself. I got myself to this point. Nobody held my hand. Nobody opened the door for me. Nobody was out there doing it but me. Like, if I didn't get up and go to those auditions, nobody would know me. You know what I'm saying? If I didn't get up and go to those dance classes, if I didn't pay for those voice lessons, if I didn't read that acting technique book, if I didn't pay for them headshots, if I didn't go to the studio, if I didn't press up them CDs, like the list goes on and on and on.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
No. Go ahead, Quinn. You speaking fact. Go ahead.
yeah. So it's just like you gotta, even if you gotta do it by yourself, and ain't nobody applauding you until they see you and the work is already done, and now they want to be, oh, I always knew you, I always want to see you win. Whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop. And it's like, all right, cool, whatever. Sometimes it's hard to not be bitter about those people, because it's like, yeah, man, I called you 6 months ago about the same project, and now you here at the opening or the premiere or the album release, and you talking about we should work. And I'm like, nigga, I was trying to work with you. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
But you just gotta like brush it off and be like, all right, yeah, I see you. I don't. But now you standing on a different playing field, because you did the work yourself and you know what it takes to get it done. So you ain't asking for help. Now now it's about having a partnership. I'm not asking you to help me. It's like, all right, so what you gonna bring to the table? Why should I involve you at this point?
Wow, that's very profound what you just said, because literally me and Hakeem, we had lunch today, and we were talking about that, how we should be supporting each other. It's not about feelings or I dislike you. Let's create a partnership so we can grow this type of business, which is a business we're trying to grow. And that's what I was gonna ask you too, Miss Woods. Do you feel like it was hard for your family to support you in your dream and your destiny?
Um, Well, my family always supported me, but it's not like, my mother and my father, that's not the generation that they came up in. They worked in corporate America. You know what I'm saying? They worked in business and administration, and you go to college, you get good grades, you get a good job, you get a 401k. You know what I mean? So it's just foreign to them. Like, they only know they can only support me as far as their knowledge takes them. But like,
Mm-hmm.
delving into the music industry and into the world of entertainment and public relations and the internet and social media, is like, that's not their world. Like, they don't know. You know what I'm saying? So um other than me asking them to freaking, take out business loans in their name for me, like, which I would never do. But some parents get down with their children's dreams in that way, but that's not how they operate. So they're supportive. It's just they don't understand.
Mm,
And a lot of parents, they aren't necessarily they're not unnecessarily unsupportive. It's just most parents, they just don't want to see their child struggle.
that's a fact.
And what does that mean? That means doing what's safe for them.
Mm-hmm. Like,
So if what they think is safe for you is to get a regular job and have a regular paycheck, even if they know your passion is to play football or start a business or be an entertainer, and they know that you're good at it, but you're like, okay, so you tried, but that didn't work, so you have to do this now because you have to support yourself. And they don't want to see you struggle. They don't want to hear you worrying about money, um, you know, stressed out about paying bills and making rent and trying to decide
mm-hmm.
whether you're gonna pay for this bill or if you're gonna buy studio time. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
Like, they
right.
don't they don't they don't understand what it means, like why you gotta be at an event at 2 o'clock in the morning where they hear on the news people get shot in clubs and all of debauchery that they hear about. And they're just like,
Mm-hmm.
why can't you just um open a dance school? Like, no, I don't want to do that. Why don't you just whatever, and they think it's a good idea, they think it's a good suggestion, but it's like they're just looking for what's gonna keep my child safe. And so it's not that they're being unsupportive, it's just they're trying to not be worried about your well-being.
And I could, and
Like,
I could go ahead.
even I'm sorry to even in this pandemic, the first thing my dad was calling me like, "How you getting out of the city?" And I'm like, "Daddy, stop! Get off my phone. I'm on my way to an audition." And he's like, "Well, they ran out of masks in New York. I'm looking at the news right now." And I'm like, "Daddy, it's cool." And of course, this was in the beginning. This was like late February, early March, before it really got the shit hit the fan or whatever. And I'm like, "I can't talk to you about this right now. I'm late." I'm like, "Bye." Messing up my headspace. I gotta get in here and because it happened, the pandemic shut down like right in the middle of like the height of like audition season, pilot season, like all the new shows, all the television shows are like casting. So I'm like, I ain't going nowhere. I'm about to get this work. You know what I'm saying? But all the works came to a screeching halt, you know what I mean? Because
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't safe for people to even be in the same room with each other, let alone have a kissing scene. Ew. But like, but yeah. So I'm like, oh snap! It's not like they're just like, forget your work, forget what you got to do. You need to get to where it's safe, and that's not where typically those cities that had the lower numbers weren't the cities that were like booming with like the entertainment industry. So I went off on a big tangent. Y'all might have to
No,
edit that
but
part
that's good though.
out.
Everything you say is gonna be good for our listeners. Now, let me. I have a 2-part question.
Facts.
Now, I want to ask you, what is your definition of success, and do you believe is there a certain formula that leads people to become successful, especially like because you had something that I think it's a once in a lifetime dream for a lot of people to get the way you at, to become famous, to sell millions of records. You know what I mean? For a lot of independent artists who are out there. And I think, you know what I mean, sometimes even in the digital age, it's still harder for people to just even break a record.
Right. Well, uh, my definition, I come from, I'm like I'm a 90s kid, so I definitely grew up watching like Pinky and the Brain, and I was
Same
like,
here. I'm with you.
You
I'm
you
with
sure
you
I
on
you
that
sure
was
one.
about
I'm
that?
with
Cause
Brain.
that. I'm
you
with
look
you
like
on
you
that one.
21 though. You sure you
She
were
do.
born in the 90s?
She was born in the '90s, but she looked so
I
damn
was,
good. You
You
know what I'm
look
I
like
saying?
you
was,
21, like you 22 around here.
well,
Yeah.
black don't crack, you know what I'm saying? But,
Preach
but,
now.
but look, I was like Brain, you know what I'm saying? I was like, man, when Pinky was like, what are we gonna do tonight? Brain is like, the same thing we do every night, try to take over the world. It's like, how am I gonna do it today? What are we gonna
Yeah.
do to take over the world? Like, hell yeah, what we gonna do tonight, Brain? What we gonna do tonight, D.woods? Okay. But like success, I definitely um I just feel like to be successful in whatever it is that you do, you definitely can't look on the outside and be like, oh, that's success. I'm comparing myself to this person, comparing myself, because then you're just going to be chasing. You're going to be like a chicken with your head cut off. You're never going to be satisfied. So everybody's definition has to really relate to their own life situation. And for me, sorry, one of my biggest things, and it's not even really about me, is like I want to be able to clear, this is like a big like goal, like benchmark for me. I want to clear all of my mother's debt and pay for her house and pay for her, lifestyle of living, and basically spoil the shit out of my mother. Like, let her take her trips, her and her friends going on a cruise or whatever it is that she's doing. It's like she don't gotta worry or want for nothing.
I want to put
That
some respect on what you just said.
Yeah. I love
And
that.
listen,
No, because I'm in the same way.
that's every black boy's dream, and a woman. That's everybody's dream.
Yes.
so what does that take? Whatever I'm doing, I have to be able to be able and it be like nothing. It ain't like my mom's calling and bugging me for the money. It's just like boom, it hits her account. Boom. Yeah, just check your account, Ma. You got this much. I saw that there's like a cruise or flights, or you're trying to do a timeshare in this place, whatever. Because those are the things that my mom always talks about, like just she being a black woman in this world, has sacrificed a lot and has put herself um, last on the list of, people that get taken care of. And especially even during this pandemic, like doing a lot of thinking and meditating and stuff, just thinking about what it is that I want and the levels of success and what do I look at as living an abundant life. And that's the thing that always comes up in my mind, is like, I need to have my cup runneth over and spilling into my mom's cup. You know what
Nice.
I'm saying? But
Nice.
definitely, like for me, I have lots of outlandish ideas and projects and treatments and movie scripts and video ideas and stuff. And so like seeing those things come to light in the way that they look in my mind that's a level of success for me, like doing that and having like the access to do it. And it's not even about like the cars and the house and the money and the clothes and everything. It's like I just want to actively, consistently be creating the ideas that are in my head that um it's gonna take a lot of money to do those things. So there is money involved, but having that level of success and access where it's nothing and just like this shit's gonna be so dope. They don't even understand, but just call up so and so. Yeah. Call up so and so director. Yep. We gonna fly in this time. That's gonna be crazy, and we just got the the money to do it. Like that. That's the kind of stuff that excites me. Hmm.
Wow, that's really good. I want that you almost made me shed a tear. I ain't even gonna lie to you. You was going in on that one. No, but I just want to ask you, what was one of the biggest mistakes you made in your lifetime, and you had a chance? Would you change it?
Oh, the biggest mistake that I think I've made, and that what they say, when you don't if you don't learn a lesson, you're gonna keep repeating it until you get it right, right? So
Facts. Mm-hmm.
I know that now I know this now,
Yep.
but I had the tendency to second guess my first like instinct,
Mm.
and
Mm.
that's a reoccurring thing that has happened. And then it's like, all right, then I had to learn the lesson. I had to go through whatever it was, however long it took to get myself out of that. Some of it was short term, some of it turned into long term, some of it was more um you know trivial, or some of it was pretty life altering. But that having first that first mind and going on that and trusting that, whether that means valuing myself more
Mm.
and
Whew. Talking about
saying
something right now.
She is. She
Yeah,
is.
you
I'm
talking
telling you,
about
she is.
something.
Yeah. Go ahead.
saying no to certain situations, or just like, yeah, basically is more things where there's a lot of situations where I should have just said no and walked away, instead of trying to feeling guilty or being afraid how people were going to take me, trying to please other people, being a people pleaser.
Mm.
but
Mm.
you're not pleasing yourself. So that's the mistake. But in the mistake, I learned, you know what I mean? So I can't really say that it was a mistake. It was just a lesson that I guess I had to learn.
Do,
Hopefully I get it right this time.
yeah. Do you think that's do you think that stems from just what I mean, one thing, as me and my best friend here, us being men, we take a setback to sit back and notice how women are not protected. You know what I mean? Especially a lot of women getting into these spaces and they're by themselves with nobody to
Hmm.
support them, nobody to look out for them. And I want to know, do you felt like there was a lot of adversities you felt because you was a woman, a black woman at that, and we have to make that prevalent, especially, I know you're a very socially conscious person. I've been on your page, and especially with things that are going on. And do you felt like there's a lot of things you had to do by yourself, or maybe things that you had to make compromising decisions because you didn't have no team or nobody to fight for you or stuff like that?
Definitely.
Mm.
Definitely. I wrote a whole song about it. It's called
Mm.
Gold Mine. Gold Mine came out of a frustration because I came out of a business meeting, and I was like, these niggas was not listening to nothing I was saying. You know what I'm saying? And you're like, all the things that you're taught as a young girl, how to hold yourself um, to a high standard, and reputation and not, basically not being a hoe. You know what I'm saying? I was trying to find a better way to say it, but I couldn't
No, you
think
did
of
it.
it.
You did a good
You said
job.
it correctly.
You did. You're like,
And
screw it.
listen, and please let women know, and we're gonna let them know this on this podcast. You don't have to be a hoe to be successful.
You don't.
Oh no, you don't. But there's so many messages out there that say otherwise, and so that's the frustrating thing, because you do all of this work, you get all of this training, you get all this education, you stack up all the requirements and prerequisites, and you're so prepared. And then you realize once you get in there that all of that makes you a threat. And not only a threat, they want to eliminate you and they want to punish you. You know what I'm saying? Like, how dare you have the fucking nerve to actually come in and speak your mind and look some of these men in the eye. They want you to come in just like very subservient. And I had a female in the industry who was helping me. She wasn't officially managing me. She was more so like an advisor consultant. But this was like uh, on the heels of me being, dismissed out of Danity Kane, and I was figuring out how to keep it moving. And like I would just call her with what was on my mind or what I was going through. She was like, "Let me tell you something." She was like, "D, you're gonna have a hard time." She was like, "You're gonna have a hard time because," she was like, "because these men, they see you coming, because you ain't a punk and you're not stupid.
Yep.
So they're gonna give you a hard time." And that's basically where the conversation ended. Like, she couldn't tell me, but do this, but do that. She's like, this is just what it is.
Yeah.
You're gonna have a hard, and so navigating how to keep your integrity, but you want to get results, and you're just like, damn. So how do I do this without selling my soul? Or how do I, you know, learn to stroke this man's ego, because it's all egotistical. And so like if the man is holding the leverage and the power, you can't change that he has that leverage and that power, but you got to change how the conversation goes so you can get what you want. But they know how you are. And so I can't tell you how to do that. I can't tell you you know what I'm saying? It's just like, and I'm not saying choose to sleep with somebody, choose to sleep with your way to the top or whatever, but it's just like 48 Laws of Power. Read that book.
Yeah, it's powerful. 50
Yeah,
recommend
I
it
read
all
the
the
book.
time.
I listened to the book. Very good book.
Yeah.
Right. It's really about just, I don't know, reading the room, and then I don't know. I mean, I'm still learning myself, so all I can say. So yeah, that song "Gold Mine" came out of that, because I was like, "Yo, I am so," and I'm so frustrated because I'm not, I'm not a female that leads with her sexuality or physical attributes. Like I was never taught to do that. I was never in a space where that was celebrated. Actually, for the longest time, we didn't even, like, I was rocking like the biggest, baggiest jeans. You know what I'm saying? I'm such a tomboy. You know what I
No,
mean?
no, and which we love that about you. I don't know about other dudes, but we're socially conscious on this end.
Mm.
No,
Yeah.
That's great.
no,
Yeah,
no.
we put
We
prejudge. We
yeah,
don't prejudge nobody.
we not those Suki Hana lovers. I'm just
No.
letting you know that. I'm just being no disrespect for her. I'm just keeping it real. Like, we know what's real and what's fake. Yeah.
Right. So it's hard for me because people are like, you don't even, I've had people straight up tell me, music industry, executives, like, you need to have a boyfriend.
Ooh.
Like, and
Ooh.
and that,
Let
and
her
what is that?
go into that. Please go
How
ahead.
yeah, it's like, it's so, how does that have anything to do with my talent? It's just people will care about you. People will want to know. And I'm like, I don't want the basis of whether or not you like my music to be dependent on who I'm fucking. You know what I'm saying? But we see it happen so much,
Man,
and there's lots of examples out there of like we're gonna get so invested in this person because of this relationship that they have publicly in the media. And it's like, no, that ain't got shit to do with
yeah,
it.
yeah.
Because they
We
definitely don't do that to men.
I kind of understand it. I understand the business side of it because the reason why they love controversy. Like for example, like this is what's going on with Cardi B and Offset. You see what I'm saying? So the media likes that, and when the media likes stuff like that, your record sells. So I understand that from a business standpoint.
yeah,
But in
but
actuality, no.
but you
Go
see,
ahead.
let me ask you a question. But then you have to compromise integrity, and
Right.
does that mean more than money? And that's what
But
a
that
lot.
it don't matter. But you gotta understand something, Hakeem. It doesn't matter in this type of game. The game is
Okay,
let's make this money.
then we might as well all say we're snakes in the grass. Then
Yeah, that's why
Eh,
Kanye
I'm-
West came out with that article.
trust me, I ain't no snake in the grass. I ain't on that. Like if it's gonna cost me that much, I might as well not do it. Cause you know
Right.
me,
And
you got to sleep with yourself at night with that.
right. You gotta sleep. You gotta be able to look yourself in the mirror.
Mm-hmm.
So just me knowing like, well, I've been on stage. I've been loving being a creative person even the thought of boys came in my head. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It's just like
Mm-hmm.
loving singing and dancing. So like I have to go back to that little girl. I gotta answer her. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Like the Juanita that was dancing in her room in front of her teddy bears, acting like that was an audience. Would she be okay with this version of me? You know what I mean? And I always do that, and sometimes it's like, well, that means there are certain levels, like we were talking about levels of success. There's certain
Yeah.
stages and levels and platforms that you know it takes that other shit to get to. And it's like, okay, am I okay with not getting to that point if that means me doing these certain things? You know what I mean? Like doing certain things is the only way to get to that point. Or I might have to make a whole other highway, pave a whole nother street, knock down the trees, do all the gravel, everything. And that's just gonna take me longer. Um, do I have the patience or do I want the quick road, you know? So I always say that what's the saying? It's like you can get it two or three ways. You can get it fast,
Mm-hmm.
cheap, and good. Fast, cheap,
Indeed.
or good.
With that
Does it
being
have to be
said,
good?
yeah.
I mean, do you want something? I mean, if you want it fast and cheap, then it's probably not gonna be good.
Basically.
Mm.
But with
Go
that
ahead.
being said, with everything you just told us, what was the most satisfying moment of your career? Because that's really important.
Oh, I've had several very satisfying moments, but I would have to say right now the one that's sticking out to me is this past fall. Well, yeah, and it's almost a year ago now. Wow, we just had a whole wash of a year of 2020.
Yeah, I know. Trust
But
me.
um last year this time I was doing the off-Broadway show for Colored Girls at the Public Theater in New York City. And I never imagined um like the scope of the responsibility that I had in the show. From the outside looking in, you'd be like, "Oh, I was cast as an understudy in the show." Now, I went out to audition for this and I was just like, "Oh, this is meant to be." I've been reading for Colored Girls since I was in ninth grade. The first time I saw this play was when I was in ninth grade. And it like, I didn't understand a lot of it because I was in ninth grade, but you keep going back to this play because as a black actress, this is like a piece of work that you're always going to keep coming back to. And every point of your life, it's going to mean something different. All the words in it, the monologues, the characters, the stories, everything. It's just going to be like, wow. I would have never understood this as a 14-year-old because I hadn't been in an abusive relationship. I don't have any friends that had abortions, or I don't know what it means to X, Y, you know what I'm saying? So like every time you go through something in life, you'll be like, yo, this is just like that monologuing for Color Girls, and it's like a whole eye opener. So long story short, been reading this play since 14. The theater that we were performing it in is 2 blocks away from my college dorm where I lived at NYU. So I used to walk by this theater every day going to class. I was like, wow, this is like a full circle moment, yo. I used to walk this same route every day going to class. And now I'm performing on this like high level of being a respected actress. But I was casted as an understudy. So I was a little disappointed. So I'm like, man, I'm the shit. Why I gotta be the understudy? But I said, I'll take it. You know what I mean? Because I want to be in the room. I just want to be in the room and be a part of this project. But once I got in the room, then I realized I was the only understudy for the whole play. So I damn near had to know everybody's part. And are y'all still there? Uh-oh.
Yeah, we here. No, you going
Oh,
in. We
okay.
listening
Yeah,
to it. We here.
baby.
Okay,
We just
y'all
letting
was
you.
that
Oh,
quiet.
No,
oh,
sweetheart.
the way
We
the way we do things here, we let you speak
we
because we're
let you speak.
learning
We
as
don't
you're
like to
speaking.
talk over about it. We ain't
Yeah,
that type of
yeah.
podcast. Cause
Oh,
people,
okay.
I don't want people to the message to get missed.
Oh, okay.
Yes, exactly. Go
Yeah.
ahead. We here. Trust me, we
Yeah,
here.
it was just real quiet. Okay,
Yeah.
so I'm gonna rewind a little bit. So
Yeah.
I was the only understudy that was booked for the role. There's 7 roles in the play. I was the only understudy, and I was prioritized to know 4 of the most demanding roles. So I'm just I'm just damn near memorizing the whole play, everybody's part, everybody's blocking, everybody's choreography, everything. And one of the roles that I was understudying, I just never believed I was going to have to do that role. Number one, I never saw myself as doing it because from reading the play and seeing it since I was 14, this particular character was always like an older Black woman. The type just wasn't me. And the actress that was playing the role, she was younger than me, and she like she was amazing. She damn near just graduated from Juilliard, like just walked across the stage
Oh,
the May before that. So I'm like, oh, okay, that's interesting that they would have casted her. Like I was like, this is new to me. I've never seen this before, but I'm not gonna. Hey, she might
Hmm.
be the shit. You know what I mean? So like,
right.
let me learn. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because that's how I am. Like, I may have my opinion of what I think should have happened, but since it didn't happen that way, let me observe of why things are happening the way they are and be a lesson to me or whatever. So I'm watching her work throughout the whole process. I had to step in for the 3 other roles numerous times during the run, but I never had to step in for this one particular role.
Hmm.
So I was like, I ain't never gonna do this role throughout this whole run because this girl, she just on it. She is on it all the
Hmm.
time. So the plays run got extended like 4 times because we were sold out every night. So the last time that they wanted to extend it, this actress she couldn't stay on any longer because she had another project she had to start. So they were like, D, we need you to close out the run as Lady in Red. And I was like, okay, bet. You know what I'm saying? I was like, now I'm going to do it. And it is the most challenging role of the play. And so when closing night came, well, I did it for the whole week, but the closing night of the whole play, I was performing this. There was like several friends of mine in the audience, And they had seen me since I was like, 13, 14 years old. And they're on Broadway. They getting Tony Awards. One of my friends, she gonna be in the Aretha Franklin movie coming up that's coming out in November. They doing big shit. And they was in the audience, and we got a standing ovation, and it was just like tears coming down my face to the point where I couldn't even see in front of me. Like I couldn't see shit. It was just like a blurry mess on the stage. And this standing ovation, and so I was like, wow, I did it. Like I did one of the most challenging plays for a Black actress, and I closed out the run of one of the most challenging roles in that play and getting a standing ovation. So that was a long way to tell you, like, it was like all these like full circle moments, and then like having that like clapping and everything at the end is like, I did it. Like I did that shit. And then all the actresses in the show, like they were very supportive because they saw how I was working. They saw how I was working to make sure that if they were sick, if they dropped the ball, if they were injured, I was ready to step in at any point. And there were a lot of times where I would find out I had to go on for somebody like 20 minutes before the show.
Wow.
And that type of stress, that type of like preparedness, you know what I'm saying? Like just knowing, you wake up in the morning, you take a shower, like, okay, I'm going to the theater. You think everything's cool. You walk in, you joking around with people because like now we're all familiar. We've been around each other for a couple months. We got little inside jokes. So I'm chilling until the stage manager would come up at me like with a worried face. And I'd be like, oh shit, who is it? Which one is it? And to have to hold it down to the point where no one can tell that I'm the understudy. So I had people like, Angela Bassett, Lynn Whitfield, some other like some actresses that have played these roles in their career. They came to see the show, and whether or not they saw me perform or not, like, they would speak to everybody backstage after the show or whatever, and then they'd be like, oh, and who are you playing? And I'd be like, well, I'm an understudy. I'm covering Lady in Red, Blue, Green, and Yellow. And the look on their face would be like, shit. I'm glad I ain't shit. And I'm like, wow, like for somebody like Angela Bassett to be like, wow, you must be amazing. I'm like, well, thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you, T'Challa's mama. You know what I'm saying? Like, thank you. I guess I am pretty dope. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, you are dope. Not if you are dope. It's just I would say you got the fire in your eyes. Like just by you talking, it's just fire, powerful all over. So that's why we not saying anything. It's like, damn, this girl got a lot of freaking power. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I hope that we get to bring it to Broadway, when the theaters open and it's safe for people to come back in the theater or whatever, because it's a life-changing experience, even to witness it, even to witness the show, let alone say the words every night. So
yeah, me and my partner may need to have to take a trip up there to go see the show.
Definitely. Now I'm gonna ask you maybe like an off the wall question, like what is your most useless talent?
Oh yeah, so yeah, I have the most. I can't remember people's birthdays.
You say you can't?
I can. I just remember people's birthdays. Like I could have not spoken to you in like years, and the day will come up, and I'd be like, you know what? It's so-and-so birthday today.
Oh, that's cute.
Why do I do that? I don't know. I was like, you know whose birthday it is? Wow, I don't even know if I have their number no more.
But remember, it's that acting mind because you're an actress, so you got that good memory, so you know small little things.
Well, yeah, I guess yeah, that does work.
That's a gift.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But
what else you got? What are the questions?
Well, we could be on the phone all day and all night, but this will be my finest question because I know you're a busy woman. We ain't gonna hold too much of your time. But my thing is, what's your idea for this type of generation of men? Because you are a Black woman, Very attractive. So, what's your ideal man for a black man to get a woman like yourself?
Well, he had
Hey,
to
no,
go
hold on.
there.
Let her answer the
Nigga, you had
question.
to go there.
No,
Like,
this is a free ball question.
I know. I'm like,
This,
damn, bro.
you know, I ain't gonna try. I'm not trying to put down.
Man,
I'm just
I
saying
know that.
because
Like,
she's a good looking woman. So and she's
yeah,
black. So I love my black queen. So I'm just trying to see, like, hey, because she's in the industry.
I
She's in the
know.
industry. So her point of view
Cause I
is
know
gonna
you.
be a high value man. Go ahead.
I know you probably got all these type of dudes hollering and trying to put down on you.
Yeah.
You know what's so funny? I was saying this yesterday because I went to this event yesterday,
Mm-hmm.
and um it was an event that was happening like throughout the summer, just for like space for it. Mostly it's like black creatives or entrepreneurs or whatever to come together and just be black around each other. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
Okay.
we needed that this year. We needed a
you do.
space not to be like angry or be outraged about anything, but just come and just be black. And whatever that means, I mean somebody's playing spades over there, some girls playing double dutch, somebody playing, before I let you go and they do an electric slide. It was like all of that happening. So and then also everybody's been inside the house and covered up and wearing face masks. So it's like, damn, the dating game is really, really
Ooh,
dreary out here.
You see, I King.
ooh,
You see, but you see, I King. So
ooh.
you can't get mad at me for
I'm not
asking the
getting mad, but
question.
I'm
You
asking.
know what I'm saying? Go ahead.
Corona exposed how lonely people are. Let's be
Yeah,
honest
I
about that.
do. Yeah, I do. Yeah, it is. Yeah,
Yeah.
it is.
So going to this event throughout the summer was like a little highlight. It's like, oh, okay, I'm about to get cute. I got a reason to get cute. I can look at cute people, and there was always like some really good looking people. Like just even if you just want to stand back and people watch it, like y'all so beautiful, y'all so melanated, and yes, all the style, all the expression, like everybody just is dope. You know what I'm saying? But me, D.woods, will be just standing there looking at people and nobody, I mean, not a now one
I,
would holler
nah, Woods, please
at
Wow.
me.
shout it. I'm gonna keep it 100. Down south, we say shout it, you gookin'. That's a lie. Now
That's
I'm
a
just
lie.
saying, you know that's a lie.
Yeah,
You
that's a
not
lie.
ugly. You not ugly, mine.
If I'm
All listen,
lying,
all that chocolate. You telling me with
Yeah,
all that
you know
chocolate,
she ain't gonna
all
tell
that
nobody on
chocolate
the
dudes was just
podcast.
walking around there like robots? I don't believe that
Thank
shit.
you.
All right?
I don't believe it
Maybe
either.
just I don't. You probably was out of sight, out of mind, and probably was not looking at the advances. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
that's what people always try to say. They always try to blame me and be like, you just intimidate dudes. You probably wasn't even checking for it. And I'm like, when I tell you, I would literally be standing by the DJ booth or like, cause it was in the park. So they would do it out in the
Mm-hmm.
park. So it could be like social distancing or whatever. But then, people just start getting close. Anyway, so people had like the little blankets, their little setup with their food, they drinks, BYOB and everything. So like, if I would be sitting on the blanket by myself, just holding down like the space so that we don't lose our space or nothing, I'll be sitting there by myself until I'm like, all right, let me start walking around and mingling because now I'm just sitting here looking lonely. All right, let me start talking and sparking up a conversation. I'm gonna just start dancing in the little dance in circle. Okay, and like literally nobody would holler. And then like and I say this also like even as far back as high school, I went to the prom with a group of my friends, my girlfriends, and
Mm-hmm.
I was like, you know what? I'm glad that I had the mindset that I just wanted to party with my friends and not
Mm-hmm.
worry about it. Because now, hindsight 2020, looking back, like no one even asked me to the prom either.
So you no, but you seen that
No
now you
one
going left
asked
field.
me.
She
Yeah,
going left
like
field with it.
you
No, no,
you
no,
telling me
no. Go ahead.
throughout this whole thing nobody ain't tried to put down even in
Don't say it's hard for me to believe that. I
yeah
don't
for
believe it
real.
No one
because someone
asked
like
me to the
myself.
prom. No one asked me
Go
to
ahead.
the prom. And then it was after, you know, like the week after when we went back to school, then all the dudes was like, yo, I didn't even know you was going by yourself. If I had known, I would have asked you. Well, you didn't ask me, and I went by myself. Now what? Now what? The prom is over. What you gonna do now?
I still ask you too. I'm like, hey, let's go to the movies. Hey, but Hakeem, you'll see that she made a good point. The problem is nobody asks because
That
if
is
she's
true.
standing around by herself, and not only that, but it's intimidating too because remember that's D.woods. So you know her from Danity Kane, so you can be like, damn, I know she got somebody. I ain't
But
gonna dare ask.
you
Nah,
know, people
don't
are scared
ask.
of it. You know, people are scared of rejection. I even think even
Yeah, that's
famous
true
people.
too.
So I don't know if like, you know what I mean, like you know what I mean, like hearing
Like a
that
regular
just
Joe down the street
like a
go holler
regular
at
Joe down the
D.woods.
street.
I
You
don't
know what I'm
think
saying?
so.
Like, you know what I mean? Because it's like you are like you're in a different tax bracket than most people, and
Facts.
you know what I mean. You know what I mean. You're in a different type of situation. So I would just wonder, like, you know what I mean? Like, are you smiling or you like you got the serious face on?
You mean right now? I mean,
Uh,
does it matter? Cause like,
it does
It
matter.
does matter.
It
Yes, it
does
does
matter,
matter.
especially for black men
It matters.
trying
y'all
to.
need to come up out. Y'all need to stop being so sensitive and so
No, I'm not
insecure.
sensitive. Not myself. Not we.
No, no,
Not nobody on this panel is
no,
sensitive at
we
all.
not sensitive, but
No,
I know a lot of
no.
guys, especially dudes who I know got money. Sometimes they be want to talk to certain people, but like when you pull up on somebody, and if you got a face like somebody just pissed you off from here to last Tuesday, a person might sit back like, "Damn, I want to get cussed out."
No, but that's
But
low
you,
self. But Hakeem, that is kind of low self esteem because
That's not
you
low.
are the man. You're supposed to be the one to put a smile on a
No,
woman's
no, no.
face, even
Listen,
though she
listen. That's
looking
not low
mad
self
or
esteem.
exactly.
go
That's
ahead.
what it
Oh
needs to
my
be
god.
because I
It is
hate when
Hakeem.
I hate when I'm walking down the street and it's like you don't know what's going on in my head. You don't know
Facts.
where I'm on my way to. So like why am I just gonna be walking around just smiling at people? And then also it's protection too, because there are some times
Mm.
when you walk around, you have to wear a coat of armor so that you don't get unwanted advances. You don't get like
That is
harassed
true.
and
That
totally
is true.
That's
disrespected. Like
Yeah.
sometimes I just walk down the street and I just put my you know my earbuds in. I might not even be listening to nothing, but sometimes I do it just so that I don't get cat calls and all kind of obscenities thrown
Mm.
at me. And
mm.
then because then it's like, all right, I don't want to have a conversation. I'm on my way somewhere. And a lot of dudes don't know how to take, you know, don't know how to just like give a compliment and keep it moving. They feel like they are entitled for your time and for your to oblige whatever their fantasy is in their head. So it's like, you want to give me a compliment, you need to know how to give a compliment, first of all. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
Don't be talking about my ass and talk about how sexy I look. And it's like ew. So if it was dark outside, you gonna hit me over the head and drag me in a fucking corner? Like I don't know. I don't know you, dude. You know what I'm saying? So it's all about how you approach somebody. So you can't fault the female for like protecting themselves. And a lot of black female, we have to protect ourselves. You know what I'm saying? We have to
And
protect
it's
ourselves. We have to be 10 steps ahead. We have to think about what we're wearing,
yeah.
what route we're taking, when we're going, where we're going, what
It's
time
sad.
of day it is. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like at the end of the day, they're gonna try to blame you for what somebody victimized you in
Mm.
doing.
Man,
So
it's sad to
I
see.
Man,
say I
it
say
is.
this like I don't know what the face I have on,
Yeah.
but if you know how to have a conversation, I'll have a conversation. I've had many a conversation with random people, and it'd be like, okay, and that's it. Thanks. Oh yeah, have a nice day. You be blessed. All right now. You know what I'm
But
saying? But it's like, um, but if you I don't know. It's just like if you don't know how to approach me, a lot of
mm,
dudes they're like cat call you and then be like, "Come here." Excuse me, I'm not a fucking dog. I'm not an animal. I'm not a
yeah.
prostitute. If you want to talk to me, come. You see me walking this way, walk with me, and walk
Yeah.
faster because I'm gonna be late now.
Boy, she
Hurry
giving
up,
out free game right now.
She do
For the
free game.
free. She giving out free game. So
But
whoever listens to this podcast, man, she just gave you a free game to how to approach a woman.
but
Come on.
it makes sense though that we're talking. What you're referencing makes a lot of sense. But you're a different type of class of women. You know that, and I think that a lot of brothers can interpret that sometimes. You know what I mean? Our visions are very blurry. Sometimes we might look at all women as the same, but you know what I mean, you're a person who's educated and who, you know what I mean, somebody who might come from a different socio-economic situation might be more receptive to that. You know what I'm saying? So, but what you're telling, it makes a lot of sense, though.
But at the same time, like, you don't have to be from any social class to just know how to speak and be respectful.
You're right. You're 100% right. But like history has taught us, you've been around some people with money and they still act like they still come from the projects, right?
Yeah. Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
So you know what I mean? It took people, you know what I mean, like especially, you know, I'm from down south, and I'm gonna tell you something. I grew up in Miami, in the roughest part of town. When I went to Boston, and I was in Boston for almost I was in Boston for a decade. I had to force myself to change because, you know what I mean, black people up there are very different, and
Mhm.
white folks up there are very different. You're not gonna get very far talking a certain type of way. So I definitely understand that. I think that it's kind of, you know, man, it's just kind of hard for a lot of us to, especially dealing with each other as people. You know what I'm saying? And you know what I mean. So
Mhm.
it does make sense, Miss Woods.
So to
Do
answer your question, I would say, and it's not a particular type. I mean, everybody has like the things that they like about people,
Yeah.
but I would have to
mm,
say for the brothers listening,
Yes.
instead of
yes.
instead of leading with what you want out of the situation,
Mm.
because there's been times when dudes will just pull out their phone and be like, yeah, and I'm like, what you want me to do with that? Yeah, you have a nice phone. You know what I'm saying? But like, I was like, yeah, yeah, yeah,
Oh
give
my god.
what's your number again? And it's like, I never said I was gonna give you my number. Put your motherfucking phone away, nigga. I
No,
don't
but
even know your
don't
last
you want a
name.
man? No, but hold on, Miss Woods. Don't you want a man to be assertive? Because if a man pull out his
No,
phone, he
no,
being assertive.
that's presumption. What's the word? He's just assuming that he deserves to contact me, and we haven't even had like
Mm.
a full conversation. So it's kind of like, how about we have a conversation before I let you know how you can get in touch with me at any time
Mm.
and talk the bullshit in my ear. You know what I'm saying? So like, here's some pet peeves. Okay, one, instead of leading with what you want out of the situation, how about you come with what you can offer? You know what I'm saying? And in the first instance, you know what I'm saying, it's just like, can you offer a pleasant conversation? Can you just offer a compliment without expecting something out of it? Can you just offer, to put a smile on somebody's face? And if that's all you get, then be happy with that. But don't be thinking like, man, well, fuck you too then. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, you just you would be surprised. Like they say, this is a thing. I'm not making none of this up and I'm not exaggerating. That kind of shit be happening. You know what I mean?
Wow.
So like,
Even to you, it's amazing because you be like you're a high class woman, and it still happens. Wow.
yeah, but sometimes they may not say, oh, that's D.woods from the show and da 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 da, who's educated. And they just see something that they want and something that they feel like they're entitled to have. You know what I
Mm.
mean? So they're not even differentiating who the people are. You know what I mean? But like, so that's one. So it's like, all right, if you a guy who just knows how to have a good conversation, you'll get a lot further. You know what I mean? You buy yourself a good, 5-10 more minutes of someone's time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yeah, that's true.
saying? So then secondly, if you do get the number, do not text me all like like I hate the texter that doesn't know how to talk. So if you're gonna text me
What you
back and forth,
mean?
if you're gonna text me back and forth for an hour, back and forth, text. If you can't, and then if you texting me and you're not writing in full sentences, like if you giving me like WYD, where you at and shit like that, no, I don't need acronyms. I want full sentences. And also, if I gave you my number, like you can text me like, oh, are you free right now? And then it's like, let's have a conversation. Don't text my fingers to death, man. You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh, show that you really want to invest in like having a conversation, really getting to know somebody.
Man, you giving that free game. Hakeem right now knows he's not saying anything.
No,
Cause
hey, I'm writing down. I'm
He's
supposed to be
that
writing
taking
shit,
notes.
down. That's why he ain't
that
saying
shit is annoying. And then it's like, oh, you you will like, you know, text somebody to death, and you know, once you get to a certain rapport with somebody, yeah, you can text, you know, especially if we're busy, if you at work or in transit or whatever. But like, set out some time that you will actually invest in listening, getting to know the nuances in people's voices, so you know their sense of humor. Then you can make jokes in texting, because now I know what you mean. Now things aren't going to get lost in translation. Like, oh, you ain't get my joke. Oh, I didn't know if you was serious or not when you said that. And like, you know what I mean?
Wow. No, it's just amazing just to see your third eye. Like your wisdom, your intelligence is just awesome. I'm not gonna lie, you gave a lot of free game, even
Free
for me
game
to
right
better
now.
me as a man. I'm not even gonna
Brothers,
lie
you
to you.
heard it. Know how to
You heard
talk.
it first from a celebrity now that's telling you how to talk to a woman properly, even a celebrity woman. So it's like really free game, man. I'm gonna replay this back. Go ahead.
even that, but they do gotta have a little cash on them, don't they?
I
Good
mean,
question.
yeah, I mean, because if I mean, and it's not like, oh, you gotta be in a certain tax bracket, but certain things are gonna make a difference when you get to that level. You know what I mean? Because a lot of men do not know how to respond, or don't know how to take it when a female is making more money than them.
Ooh, Lord Jesus.
Ooh, she hand the stomach now.
My heart just
they,
skipped a beat
they
there.
don't know how to they don't know how to take it. They don't know how to settle it in their self-esteem, in their spirit. It's just like, and then they have to find ways to get their power back, and that's when you see niggas shooting bitches in the foot and shit.
But my
So,
question to you,
You see,
but the
a
thing is, my
shameless
question to
plug.
you,
She just
D-Wood,
dropped the hint there.
she did, but my question to you, D-Wood, it don't make sense because, for example, if my girl's making like 6 figure and I'm only making 2 figures, it's gonna look weird because I can't even take her to a nice restaurant. 'Cause I'm like, I only making two. The only place I can take you is to McDonald's, even though that's a bad example. But I'm just saying, the only place I can take you is McDonald's because that's all the money I'm making. It's McDonald's
well,
money.
that means when you come to, if you want to buy a car, do you go to the car dealership and say, you should mark your car down because I'm only making this much? Or do
Ooh,
you go get
Ooh,
a job that's gonna make you more money?
ooh.
a lot of guys would have took that as a low blow.
But it's
It
true.
is
Like,
too. I'm not.
why you want me to put myself on a clearance rack just because you aren't doing what you want to do or what you should be doing? And yeah,
Damn.
we all, and this is when it comes into a further psychological analysis. You know what I'm saying? We all have, we all make choices, and we make choices which create circumstances, or we work our way out of circumstances. So like, you can't ask for something that you haven't even done the work to actually deserve. You know what I'm saying? So
Mm.
like, if I want, you know, if I want a Bugatti or I want a Tesla, but I'm coming with bad credit scores, fucking, you know, flags all over my.
Boy, she knows, boy. She from the hood. Go ahead.
You know what I'm saying? If I'm coming with like, I ain't really got what it take to put the down payment on, and I can't finance it, or any of that shit, then that means I either need to work on all of that shit and then come back,
Yeah.
or that means I just need to take myself down to the auction and get what I can get. You know what I'm
Basically,
saying? And be
that's,
happy with that.
or not date at
Facts.
all, or not date at all, and
Or not a
just
day at
work
all.
on
Tell you
yourself.
that.
Work on yourself.
Yes.
Or, and then also, if you don't know how to treat the car that you're getting from the auction,
Mm.
then what makes you think that you're gonna know how to treat the Bugatti?
Mm.
Because the maintenance on the Bugatti is about 360,000.
The
More.
maintenance.
Yeah.
More.
You can't even change your oil.
Yeah. No.
You know what I'm
Can't go to
saying?
Jeffy Lube with that. You right though. She got a
She
point.
right. She right.
She got a
She
point.
right. She right. You say I
Yeah,
ain't debating her. I'm just asking her a simple question because I'm like, most men, get intimidated from women like that. That type of power and that type of industry. So it's just good to see her point of view in the dating game. That's why, like,
Yeah.
I really thank her and appreciate her for that because I learned a lot today.
I
but
did.
I wouldn't even say it's just because of being in the industry or whatever. It's like, treat all the women, especially if you want a certain level in your own life, you have to have certain characteristics and practices and discipline. A lot of people don't want to work for what they're saying that they want. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
you right, but I think that's a lot of dudes who don't got money though.
I know it's probably dudes that don't got money,
Yeah,
but it's
cause
also dudes who just feel that people just need to make it easy for them just because. You got a lot of people who just want to be self-sabotaging and just want people to like give them chance after chance after chance. And it's like, no.
I love
you see,
D.woods. Boy,
you see, I could build
I'm
on that
falling in
with you,
love.
D. But I don't want
I'm falling in
because
love.
I do have a question on that. But I'm gonna say it. But you know what I mean. But really, what I really want you to give for me is, if you was to write a book about yourself, what would you name it, and what advice would you want to give to women that's coming behind you?
What is that? What would I name the book?
It better not be the Bible now. Don't
And
name it
mind
the
you,
Bible.
I'm gonna tell you where I
Bible.
got that question from. I got that from. I don't know if you ever seen that video clip with Monique, and she was talking about her difficulty in the industry with this whole thing with Whoopi Goldberg, and you know what I mean. And she say she's fighting for Black women, especially to be paid correctly. And you know, my thought what she said was very, very inspirational. And I would just want to know, like, you know what I mean. It's very rarely like I love to talk to people like you because you've been through something. You know what I mean? You took falls and you got back up. Like, not a lot of people have been through stuff like that and didn't be able to speak about it. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of people who don't know that what you're doing is very hard. You know what I mean? Following your dream is hard as well, but dealing with the pitfalls and picking yourself back up with the bootstraps. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I would never just do like a conventional book.
Mm-hmm.
If I write a book, y'all might not even know that I wrote it. I might go under an alias, and then you ain't even gonna know it's an autobiography. You can be like, "Yo, this is the wildest fiction book that I ever read," but it's my life.
Yeah.
But I don't know. A title might be like something like "So Boom dot dot dot." Because that's how the story always starts. So boom. We was all at. It started on.
Yeah.
You remember so and so from so and so?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what this. I don't know what the book would be called,
Yeah.
but it just be. It would just be like you had to be there. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what the name of the book would be.
Listen, you just said it. You had to be there.
You had to be there.
You just had to be there. You know what I mean? I think
Mhm.
it's a metaphor saying that, you know what I mean, for somebody to walk through your shoes.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Basically.
But now I want you to give all the women advice for for what they trying to do, trying to be an actor, trying to be an actress, a female rapper, a female singer. What advice would you give them coming in this industry? You know what I mean? Knowing that you went through your associates, you had got your bachelor's and your master's in this industry and your PhDs. What advice would you give them?
Well, I wouldn't limit it to just females in the industry. I actually started a mentorship program called Foolish Dreamers.
Ooh.
And it's also a song that's on my project, the Gray Area.
Mm.
So I was mentoring high school students because, you know, sometimes your situation doesn't equate to what your aspirations are, but that doesn't mean that you can't get there. You just have to figure out, if I'm at point A, how do I get to Z? We got to fill in the alphabet. You know what I mean? We just got to fill it in. But if you can't even see it, if you can't even admit to yourself that that's what you want, If you can't even articulate it, then it's not going to become real, you know? And then a lot of times, so this is the advice. I'm saying what the advice is right now.
Yeah. Go ahead. We not. You have to go into your monologue. We know how
Well,
this
go
goes.
ahead. We ain't stopping you. We not stopping you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let you go. Go, Queen. Take.
So yeah, basically, yeah, you have to visualize it, and you have to believe so strongly in it, and you have to be your own advocate. And sometimes you just have to like keep it to yourself until you can find people around you who will get it, even if it's just one person, you know, because you can't share your dream with everybody. You can't share your vision with everybody, and everyone's not going to get it. And so when you share it with the wrong people at at an early stage, they may deter you, or they, because they don't see it, they don't believe in it, you know, to tell you that you ain't supposed to think like that. Like you being too extra, or you ain't never gonna do that, or they just laugh at you, you know. So it's like being a foolish dreamer signifies like it may be funny, it may be outlandish to everybody else around you, but you see it. So you just have to like go for it. And even if it's a little thing every day towards your goal, like I want to be an astronaut. Okay. I mean, we see who the president is right now, so like anything is possible. You know what I'm saying? You could be
Facts.
the president.
You know, that's facts. That's facts.
But don't do the job that he's doing. But I mean, what does it take? What does it take? All right, if you 18 and you saying you want to be president, well, I know I gotta be at least 35. All right, well, that means I got a few years to get the shit together. So, in the meantime, what are we going to do to make sure that I'm
Facts.
in the right trajectory to make this goal? And surrounding yourself with the people who can see it, or at least who can feed the flame in a positive way. So, there's so many other things that go along with achieving your goals and your aspirations that we could talk forever and ever about it. But I think that's the first starting off jumping point. Like you got to see it, and you got to just keep on um, visualizing it and fine tuning it. And a lot of times you can't fine tune it until you start trying stuff out. So something that Will Smith said that I really love a lot of things Will Smith says. He's like, you got to fail, and you should fail often. Don't be afraid of failing, because in the failing you learn.
Yes.
If you don't do
Yeah.
nothing, if you just stand still because you're afraid to fail, then you're not doing nothing. You know, you're not, you know, moving forward, you're not moving backwards, you're just standing stagnant. And now you're just talking about what you want to do. But even somebody who's failing, they're at least trying, you know.
Yes.
I asked this one guy
Mm-hmm.
that you know the guys that be doing all the on the little motorcycles and the those little bike thingies.
Yeah,
Like
dirt bikes. Yeah.
the
Dirt
dirt
bike. You
bike
mean
and
dirt
stuff.
bike? Dirt bike?
Yeah,
You talking about the dirt bikes?
they got a bunch of them in New York that do it. It's like a whole crew of them.
Yeah.
Yo, they be coming through like the little swarm of this, like little
Yeah.
bee swarm coming through, you know, and they be doing all the tricks.
Hmm.
And I'm like,
Yeah.
I asked one dude one time, I was like, yo, man, how many times did you fall before you got good at doing that? Because how do you get up after you fall off of that? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I
Them
was
things
like,
are heavy.
where do you practice? And where do you practice that safely? You know what I'm saying? But he was just laughing at me because I was like, I always wonder when y'all come zooming by and they be up standing on one leg. And I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
yo, the day you tried it the first time, you know what I'm saying? But now it should look easy. But I know you fucked yourself up a good few times. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying?
And I love the fact that you mentioned your final thoughts was it's okay to fail. And I think that's a problem. They messed us up when we was growing up as kids because they made failure a bad thing. But when you get older, you start to see that no, you want to fail a couple of times because soon you fail a couple of times, you're gonna get really, really good at it.
Right. Right. And it's better to fail early than when you're at
Yes.
your height. When you're at your height and you fail, like we're seeing a lot of that.
Oh
People are
yeah,
up
Yes.
at the
yeah,
top of their
definitely.
game, and of course, when I was younger, growing up, I wanted to be famous. I wanted to be discovered. When I was 10 years old, I was like, it didn't happen yet. But I'm like, I'm actually glad that I was able to live,
Mm.
semi-normal life and really learn how to have like real friendships and real relationships and learn work ethic and discipline and know what it means to like have a little bit of money and then blow it and then oh shit that I gotta make it back now, you know what I'm saying? before
Yes.
before I got what I was really asking for and praying for, because if I wasn't mentally prepared, that you might not come back from those type of blows, those type of failures, you know. And we see a lot of people who are struggling now.
Yes.
Whew.
Very. Yes.
That was so
That's a whole
powerful.
nother.
Yeah,
It
that's
is.
a whole nother topic. Especially where we at in Florida, down here in Miami, you can see the food pantry lines
Mhm.
lined up. So I can very attest to that. And
Mhm.
Yes, but yeah, Miss Woods. Final question: where can people find you? Where people can get your new
yeah,
album,
oh yeah,
support you?
call it quits. That's the new single out.
Yes.
Download it.
Yes. Call It Quits is out on all of the platforms. Go get it,
Woo!
Yeah.
stream it, play it, turn it up, all that good stuff.
Ripping that wood grain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also you can see me on the UMC network.
Stuck to
Um,
you.
Stuck with you.
Stuck with you.
Stuck with
I'm a
you.
poor marketer.
Yep, you can find that. It's on Amazon Prime. It's on
Beautiful. Second
the
season.
Yep, second season is coming soon. They just actually reached out to me to make sure that my dates was available so we can get back to shooting because we got postponed in the year of 2020. So we're getting back to set very soon, so y'all can look forward to that. And
Woo!
yeah, and then I'm on all the social medias, the same name, your girl D.woods, YA girl D.woods. Yeah, man.
Please subscribe
Holla
to
at your
her.
girl.
I love. I'm gonna tell you something. This conversation with you, I'm in love. I ain't gonna lie to you. If you need a shooter, I'm here on deck for you anytime. New York City, L.A., wherever. I'm just there for you, shout
Oh, thank you. I might need to call on you for
it. Yeah,
real.
I gotta.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it's crazy, man. You know what I mean? They portray people, but you're just so humble and you know what I mean. You just gotta. Oh, that I'm done. I'm done. I'm
Well,
done.
tell all these lames out here
Oh,
to stop being all scared when they.
I'm gonna let them know. Hey, don't be scared. Don't be scared now. You know what I mean. She's friendly. She a real one.
Yes,
I'm
yeah.
friendly, I'm friendly, but I also don't take no shit either.
And
So it's just like you just gotta be real. You just gotta come with it. You know what I mean?
and I think you deserve that. I think all women deserve that. You know what I mean. And you know what I mean. I guess it's just accountability and being able to stand firm.
Yep. Yep. So I guess the bigger thing is like before you come talk to me, have a talk with yourself in the mirror and
Mm.
work
I know
all
that's
that out
good.
first. The two sisters Chloe and Hallie, they have a really good song right now. I
Mm.
love them two little girls because I saw them coming up in Atlanta doing all the talent shows and music showcases and everything. They've been singing they face off since they was like
Okay.
13, 14
So
years
they not
old.
new. They been around the block.
Yeah, they've been doing this. They've been sounding amazing the way they sound since they were like 13, 14 years old, harmonizing everything. But they have this song that is so real. It's called The Ungodly Hour. That's the name of their album, The Ungodly Hour, but the actual song Ungodly Hour is really dope because they're saying one of the lyrics is, when you decide you like yourself, holla at me. I was like, yeah, girl, that is what it is right there. Because don't come to me all broken and expect me to fix you or deal with your shit or deal with your triflingness. You know what I'm saying? I ain't here to be the cleanup crew. You know what I'm saying? I'm here to turn up, not clean up. You know what I mean?
But you be going in. That's why I like Miss. I told you, Hakeem, I got one of the biggest crush on Miss Woods. Ever since she came out, I'm like, man, this girl is real.
Yeah.
That's what black men need, a real black woman.
And dudes need to not to be scared of a strong woman. You know what I mean? And knowing that it's all a team effort. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah. Yep, and the passion, because we're passionate people. I mean, black men and black women, we're passionate people. Like, you know, other cultures, like you see, like Italian couples or Latino couples, like they passionate. When they fight, they be going in. You know what I'm saying? But it's like it's the passion, and I don't know what happens to black men. They just got scared, and so they just started running to Becky and them, who's just gonna appease them. You know what I'm saying? Like,
no, you're right. It's crazy to say that, but. I've always said that it's kind of strange when you can't put a warrior class person with somebody who's passive. You feel what I'm saying?
That's fact.
You know what I mean? And I've always say that you have to be blessed to have a black woman to keep you in check, because she ain't gonna never let you fall. You know what I'm trying to say? A lot of people might say it's nagging, but sometimes you don't want to be with somebody who's going to allow you to do whatever and allow you not push you to your potential. I can be an attest to that. You know, I've had great women in my life who inspired me to go back to school and who wouldn't take no shit. And sometimes you need somebody like that. You know what I mean? But you do got a point. Black men don't. You have a lot of them who, you know what I mean, who probably willing to want people to accept it and not push them. You know what I mean? Black women are feminine, beautiful, and inspirational. That's all they are. That's all they ever been. You know what I mean?
And always will be.
Basically.
Thank you.
And on that note, Hakeem, we're
out. You know what I mean? Chaos Culture Radio. Man, I just appreciate y'all just listening. Stay tuned for the next episode.